What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another COD Mobile video. So the Season 2 update has officially been released for, I think, every single version of COD Mobile, whether you're on Global, Garena, or in the Vietnamese version. So I was actually finally able to test out some of the buffs for various weapons that got changed for this specific season. And one of the most interesting changes that I was really looking forward to testing out was the M13. So just in case you guys don't know, or at least don't remember what the changes were for the M13, so they basically increased the lower arm and the chest multipliers a little bit further so that they could actually 4-tap within the first range. Small changes like this for different weapons obviously could be really impactful, especially when it comes to the first ranges. The M13 in this instance was a weapon that constantly got buffs almost every single season. This was this is before I left to the army, and like I was just getting we were just getting non-stop buffs. We got reload speed buffs, we got ADS speed buffs, attachment buffs, for the silencer barrel as well as the marksman barrel. So yeah, this gun has gone through so many changes. But even with the buffs that it has received, it still really wasn't enough to be meta. Of course, maybe it's close enough to be around there, or at least an honorable mention in some cases, but for the most part, the M13, despite its changes, has never really been able to measure up with what we currently have right now. And realistically, it makes sense with the M13 because, again, most of the changes came for attachments or reload speeds in general. So yeah, this weapon didn't really get a lot of changes to its range or its damage. Or even if it did get any changes with the damage, which is something I did notice after coming back to this game, that there was a 25 damage thing where I think if you hit in the back or something, or like in the chest, but even then that wasn't really enough to make it any stronger. It still performed more or less the same. But now adding that 4-shot capable damage to the arms as well is actually a pretty big game changer. And it's not like just a small portion of the arm. It's not the upper arm or the lower arm. It's literally the entire arm that got changed. So up to at least over 10 meters, you're going to be able to 4-shot so long as you hit in the chest, head, or even the arms now. So this thing is going to be an absolute monster in close ranges. If anything, this actually provides a lot of players the opportunity to build this out kind of like an SMG. Use the silencer barrel alongside the 40-round double stack mag. You can use a combo like that in maps such as Shipment, and I'm sure this thing could become a huge beast. If you really think about it, most of the rapid-fire weapons do have some form of 4-shot capability. I mean, with the FFAR, if you use the task force barrel, you could 4-shot to the chest a lot easier, but of course, it also involves you having to shoot in the head, which isn't really that hard of a thing. But I would say of all the rapid-fire weapons that have that type of capability, I think the M13 at the moment probably has the easiest 4-shot potential. The only other weapon I could think of is probably the Fennec, but I don't think the range goes as far. Or I think it does go pretty far, but it doesn't matter because like the Fennec range drop off is a lot more serious than the M13's. I mean, it's also worth remembering that the Fennec only has 45 rounds and has way more recoil than the M13, where this gun is actually a lot more stable. And I remember back in the day when this gun first came out, a lot of people were complaining because it was a bit too overpowered, and I think the MX9 at that point, that 3-tap MX9 meta was still a thing. So now we had like 2 really broken weapons to worry about. And I used to give people a lot of shit for using it, but I actually looked at the amount of kills I have in total with it. I actually have like over 20,000, maybe almost 30,000 kills with this weapon. I don't know how. I don't even remember using it that often, but I kind of cut it some slack now, especially with the Bison as well, because, we have way more powerful things now. I mean, a change like this would have been groundbreaking, like if it was like 2 or 3 years ago. But that's the thing, isn't it? It's not 2 years ago. We are in the present in 2025 with the M13, and even after all this time, it still remains a very solid option. It's one that you could kind of, consistently rely on. It's not always going to beat weapons like the USS-9, but it comes pretty close in my opinion. So the next question, I guess the final question that we must ask ourselves, is whether or not this actually puts it in the meta. And here's the thing. So earlier today, when I was kind of like having, just recording, I was thinking about Bobby Plays video that he released earlier. So apparently he released the season 2 meta weapons already, and that's something that I do have some criticism with a lot of YouTubers. They usually make the top 10 list before the new weapon even has a chance to be used by any players at all. And, because of that, that the USS 9 wasn't even in that video when it was actually first introduced, even though it was a very superior weapon until the next season. For me, I don't usually make top 10 videos, especially, even back then before I went into training. So, I mean, I considered making a top 10 videos, maybe of my own personal favorite weapons, but, like, competitively, yeah, like the M13 has to be somewhere up there. I know it might not be top 10, but it has to at least be an honorable mention. Having a 4-shot capability with like just a little over 10 meters is actually kind of crazy for an assault rifle with this type of fire rate. This could potentially make it one of the anti-BP50 or the anti-MG42 type of weapons out there. BP50 has like that 4-shot capability as well, but only if you use that 30-round mag. And yes, I think it still has some 4-shot capability, but it's a lot more reduced if you don't actually have that 30-round mag on. And even then, it's still kind of restricted. So yeah, I mean, something like this has to be somewhere up there. I'm hoping that it is, hoping more people will actually use it instead of just using the same things over and over again. But yeah, the M13, pretty solid, even more so now. Loving all the changes that they've made so far. Some of them might be questionable, but given how the game is currently with the meta, I mean, I don't blame them for making a change like this. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe for some more COD mode content. I'll see you guys next time.